Thank you very much, Pat, and good morning, everyone. I'm delighted to be here with you this morning for the first annual conference of the Build Digital Project, and I want to thank you, Pat, for your work as industry lead for the steering group of this project. And I want to join with you also in thanking the recently appointed director of the Build Digital Project, Dr. Claire Erickson, and the project lead, Robert Moore, for the invitation to speak with you today. I also want to acknowledge the leadership and the contribution of the former director of the project, Dr. Avril Behan. And I'm confident and I know that Claire will continue to progress the programme of work of the project, which Avril successfully oversaw since last year. And I am delighted to be here with you to address the members of the Build Digital Project and the members of the wider construction sector who are here in person in Wood Quay, and also all of those who are joining us virtually this morning. And I don't need to underline for any of you the importance of the construction sector in Ireland today. It is fundamental to the success of our economy, currently employing approximately 167,000 workers. These workers and the industry as a whole are central in delivering the ambition set out in our National Development Plan, in our Housing for All plan, and indeed the Climate Action Plan. And Project Ireland 2040 remains the government's long-term overarching strategy to make Ireland a better country for all of our people, including the additional 1 million people we expect to be living in Ireland by the year 2040. I think sometimes we forget the fact that we have a growing population and the pace of that growth has accelerated in recent years, and all the indications are that that will continue, and we need to factor that into our development plans over the years ahead. The industry is a vital stakeholder in the delivery of key infrastructure projects under the NDP, which is a €165 billion plan out to 2030. This record capital investment will itself sustain just over 80,000 construction jobs annually across this decade. And crucially, it gives the sector and indeed government departments and ministers the certainty they need to properly plan the pipeline of public capital projects over the next number of years. So it provides that medium to long-term certainty that the government will continue to prioritise a public capital investment programme. I think that's really important. Undoubtedly, the last 2 years have presented many great challenges for your sector, and this necessitates the development of innovative and flexible ways of addressing these challenges in order to ensure high quality and standards are maintained. We have faced three major economic shocks in the past number of years in the form of Brexit, the global pandemic, and now the terrible, terrible war in Ukraine. And all of these shocks have brought their own unique challenges. We all know that we are facing into global economic headwinds, rising interest rates, the cost of energy and inflation generally, weakening external demand, supply chain difficulties and labour shortages are all realities that you and indeed the government have to confront every single day. The good news for Ireland is that we are facing into this period of challenge from a position of real strength. The economic recovery from the pandemic has been rapid as a society, and our economy successfully reopened. It has exceeded pretty much all expectations. Our economy has enjoyed significant growth and is now among the fastest growing and best performing economies in Europe. Over 2.55 million people are now working in Ireland, which is a record high in the history of our country. And it's a far cry from the levels of unemployment we witnessed during the dark days of the COVID-19 pandemic. Employment, in fact, is now 9% more than the pre-pandemic peak. And this is reflected too in the unemployment rate, which stood at just over 4% last month. And I think it does show that the conscious decision that we made as a country and as a government to protect lives, to protect livelihoods, to support businesses and employers through the COVID pandemic was the right course of action and the right decision. And the scale of the economic bounce back has enabled us as a government just a few weeks ago to bring forward a budget with an €11 billion package that involves no borrowing whatsoever, whereby we can also put aside €6 billion into a National Reserve Fund, which gives us the capacity that should we need to respond further across next year and beyond, that we have the resources to do so without being dependent on the markets. As we all know, inflation now has not been at this level for a 40-year period, and it's expected to peak at over 10% this quarter, with a similar rate in the first quarter of next year, before easing slightly across 2023. That at least is the central scenario, but of course nobody can predict with any degree of certainty given the level of volatility that is there. And we acknowledge the pressure that this is placing on households and indeed businesses, including in the construction sector. So in terms of ensuring the delivery of projects under the NDP, earlier this year I announced a series of measures to underpin public works contracts and to make sure that they remain a viable proposition for private contractors. Under these measures, we've introduced a form of burden sharing or price variation as such, whereby additional inflation costs will be apportioned between the parties to the public works contract, so between the public service body and the contractor, with the state bearing up to 70% of the additional inflationary related costs, both for materials and indeed for energy. The Build Digital project can assist in managing higher costs better by encouraging world-class digital practices across the sector. These benefits, in terms of greater cost certainty, will accrue to both the public and the private sector through contracting authorities as well as contractors. These inflationary challenges require fiscal policy to strike a balance between supporting our core public services and assisting those most impacted by external shocks. And this was a key focus for the government in announcing the budget a number of weeks ago, with the aim of delivering sustainable public expenditure and balancing the need to protect the real value of public services and supporting citizens without further adding to the inflationary pressures that are there. So in November last year, I announced the funding of €2.5 million over a 5-year period to 2026 from my department to the Build Digital project. This grant will build momentum in digital adoption for the Irish construction sector through Building Information Modelling, or BIM as you know it. This grant was awarded to TU Dublin, enabled by project partners Construction IT Alliance, University College Dublin, Munster Technological University, Southeast Technological University and Atlantic Technological University. There is a strong regional spread in the Build Digital project, which helps to harness the expertise from right across the country from both industry and academia. And that regional balance is so important, and it aligns with our strategy in Project Ireland 2040. Since November last year, the project has made significant progress despite many challenges, and I'm happy to see the Build Digital team with 58 industry experts across the 5 important pillars of digital leadership and cultural change, digital standards, digital education and training, digital procurement, and sustainability and circular economy. And I do want to join with Pat in thanking all of those from across the industry who are supporting and participating in the Build Digital project, because the truth is that without your involvement, without your active support, and without your willingness to give practical application to the outputs from the Build Digital project, then it simply would not be of value to us. So that support is vital. The project is driving innovation, which is supporting the delivery of the NDP, strengthening the sector's capability to meet national, EU and international sustainability and circular economy targets. The project is a collaboration between government, industry and academia with a strong focus on meeting the needs of SMEs, suppliers and clients. And that collaboration is absolutely vital to its success. The overarching objective of the project is to deliver integrated, interoperable digital data adoption as a minimum standard across the entire Irish construction and built environment sector amongst clients, operators and suppliers. And this will drive greater efficiency, sustainability and productivity in delivering and maintaining construction output and assist the construction sector in gaining competitive advantage in the international construction market. Pillar 1 of the project deals with leadership and cultural change, and industry members will play a vital role in driving the cultural change required to realise digital transformation. Ireland is committed to playing its full part in tackling climate change. The government has published a climate action plan, which, as you all know, sets a really ambitious target of reducing emissions by over half by 2030. Members of your industry are and will continue to be central to assisting the economy and society transition towards decarbonisation in line with our climate action plan. Therefore, Pillar 5, which is focused on sustainability and circular economy, is of crucial importance. The pillar prioritises waste reduction by reusing and recycling products and minimising quantities of materials used. This pillar will develop, pilot and continuously improve a number of toolkits for use by SMEs and clients, both for adaptation of their businesses directly and in support of their supply chains too. The focus on sustainability will complement the ongoing work under the auspices of the Innovation and Digital Adoption subgroup of my department in the development of a circular economy roadmap for the construction sector. The Build Digital project is one of the cornerstones of the cultural change being brought about under the 7 priority actions of the construction sector group's Innovation and Digital Adoption subgroup chaired by PJ Rudden. And I would like to sincerely thank PJ for his continued leadership and his support for this initiative. Indeed, in relation to the issue of building information modelling, it is certainly growing in importance in terms of its capacity to assist in the delivery of the NDP. BIM brings significant benefits in improving the accessibility, the usability, management and sustainability of digital data in terms of built assets for all project participants. BIM has the potential to transform project management practices and drive significant efficiencies. And I welcome the fact that all outputs prepared under the Build Digital project related to BIM will be open source. As Minister for Public Expenditure Reform, I oversee public procurement policy through the Office of Government Procurement, and I look forward to the development of an Irish BIM framework by the Build Digital project, which will support the industry in the future adoption of the BIM mandate as committed to under the NDP. The commitment to a BIM mandate prompted the construction sector group to add a BIM-focused action to the work of the Innovation and Digital Adoption subgroup. The subgroup is working to deliver on its 7 priority actions in order to increase innovation and productivity in the sector. PJ will be providing an update on the work of the CSG subgroup later in the morning, and I'm sure you'll all find this very informative and engaging. BIM is of particular importance given the current economic climate of increasing prices, as it can assist in ensuring greater cost certainty. The Office of Government Procurement is engaging on a regular basis with the Build Digital project. I am aware that the OGP and the Build Digital project are in discussions regarding the establishment of living labs. The living labs is a live project environment where the project team want to share good practices that improves project outcomes. The living labs present unique opportunities to collaborate with the industry to improve an organization's way of working and gain recognition for companies adopting digital practices. Work is also currently ongoing by the public and private sector to analyse the present and future needs of the adoption of modern methods of construction. In addition, work has also commenced in the planning for a housing demonstration park for modern methods of construction at Mount Lucas. This demonstration park is expected to be delivered late next year. Discussion is progressing to use the park as a living lab when the park is in operation, and I look forward to seeing the implementation of that. The Office of Government Procurement is part of a team of industry experts who are engaging with the National Standards Authority of Ireland in preparing a national annex to the International Organisation for Standardisation for Information Management using BIM. The aim is to ensure a consistent approach to its application across the public sector. The OGP is engaged with the bodies charged with delivering the NDP to finalise a plan for the adoption of BIM. External advisors have been engaged to draft contract amendments to incorporate BIM into the Capital Works Management Framework and to prepare template procurement documents for publication. The OGP is running a series of masterclasses to prepare public bodies for the implementation of BIM, in which they focus on the steps necessary to enable BIM adoption within public bodies. So I think we'll see a lot of tangible progress in that regard over the period ahead. Extensive efforts are being made by the Build Digital project team to reach out to members of other countries who've implemented BIM. And I welcome the recent signing of a memorandum of understanding by the project team with Scottish Futures Trust. This will see the sharing of knowledge to mutually accelerate the journey towards a digitised built environment. Native and international best practice is being identified, adapted and freely shared across the construction sector, supported by active engagement from industry. These efforts will help create synergies and foster valuable connections. I want to thank the industry for assisting the project in its first year of operation, in driving the project forward through the steering group chaired by Pat, and for contributing to discussions and debates around deliverables and the needs of industry today, which of course are rapidly evolving. Such engagement will be essential for the continued success of not just the project, but also for the achievement of the sectoral transformation across the industry, which this project aims to achieve. Build Digital has identified a number of opportunities for the industry to financially support the project. Industry contributions will assist the project to deliver more support for the industry. Organisations that sponsor the project will be recognised as champions of the Build Digital project and of digital adoption in construction more generally. Industry sponsorship will enable Build Digital to create and disseminate tools that will help a variety of businesses, from small SMEs to large PLCs in the sector, as well as their supply chains, to be more productive. The Build Digital project is already collaborating with other priority areas of the CSG subgroup, such as the Construction Technology Centre in the University of Galway and the Demonstration Park for Modern Methods of Construction in Mount Lucas. Such collaboration and knowledge sharing will pay dividends across the public and private sectors in terms of the construction sector's performance and productivity. This all starts with leadership and buy-in from the smallest SME to the largest PLC in the sector, accepting the need and benefits from adoption of digital practices to achieve greater efficiencies. These initiatives are essential, as Solas has identified that an additional 27,500 workers are required to deliver the 33,000 homes per year that we have identified as needing under the Housing for All strategy. And I think it's becoming more and more clear that that is a minimum number that we really do need to exceed over the years ahead. Additionally, over 17,000 full-time workers are required to support the 500,000 dwellings planned for retrofitting by 2030. Investing in our further and higher education and research sector is a priority for the government and is essential if we're to maintain a modern, knowledge-based and innovative economy. And so too is investing in apprenticeships, which will be critical in meeting the targets under Housing for All and the Climate Action Plan. In the budget, I allocated almost €4 billion to this sector. The outputs from Pillar 3 related to education and training will include a comprehensive suite of upskilling courses and establish a digital education, training and research network. In addition, education programs at third level will also be further developed to attract new talent to a more innovative sector with exciting and stable and sustainable career opportunities. So I want to thank everyone for joining us here this morning, whether in person or online. Your engagement with the project is vital to its success, and I know that you will find the remainder of the session interesting. Forums such as these present opportunities to work collaboratively with a team of industry experts and innovators, ensuring the voice of the customer is heard. And before I conclude, I want to acknowledge the contributions made by the Technical Oversight Group for this action. These members are from the CIF, Engineers Ireland, Enterprise Ireland, as well as officials in my own department. And I do want to thank Kevin Meany and his team in the National Investment Office in Deeper for their continued support for the Build Digital project. We would not be where we are today without their direct support and active participation. The role of the Technical Oversight Group includes advising this project in terms of its work programme, appropriate resourcing, its approach for industry engagement, with the aim of fostering collaboration across the construction sector group and wider relevant actions. And I urge the industry to participate in elements such as the Living Labs and also lend their support, both in terms of contribution in kind, but also where possible financially through the live expression of interest for funding, which Robert Moore, the project lead, I know will discuss later today. And I urge all types of construction firms, whether they are SMEs or large contractors, to work and collaborate with Build Digital projects towards the solutions and the work practices that will enhance their digital adoption. And I look forward to following the progress of this project as it progresses over the years ahead, delivering the digital transformation in the construction sector, which will be of benefit to all. And the final message I want to impart to you all is just to reassure you of my own personal support, the support of the department and the support of the government for this project, which we recognise as being so important to the future of the industry over the years ahead. So thank you all for your attention and enjoy the rest of the conference.